This is CBC Here and Now.
Suspended with pay, Andy Wells is being investigated.
The truth is the best defense.
Exempt, why there won't be any names of unionized RNC members on the Sunshine List.
A paving job goes terribly wrong in Bonavista.
Finally, the mercury rises, but for parts of central and the northeast coast, some serious humidity on the way tomorrow. We have a special weather statement to tell you about. That's coming up.
We start tonight with a serious incident. That's what Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro is calling it.
An accident on one of the new transmission lines being built in the province.
Here Now's Terry Roberts is live and Come By Chance. So Terry, what can you tell us?
Yes, Debbie, I can tell you we just arrived here in Come By Chance just minutes ago, long enough to set up and long enough to receive the latest information from Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, and it's the worst information imaginable. Hydro is just confirming right now that two workers have died today on an industrial accident on the construction of the new 230 kilovolt transmission line that's under construction from the Bonavista hydroelectric generating station to here on the Western Avalon Peninsula. We were receiving a report earlier today that there was a serious accident and that the work on the transmission line has been halted. Well, now we can confirm that two individuals have died. This directly affected this town. Firefighters from right here in Come By Chance and from nearby in Sunnyside responded earlier this afternoon, I'm told. And this statement from Hydro says the employees were employed by a contractor that had been engaged by Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, and that Hydro is working closely with the contractor with great concern and sympathy for the families and co-workers that have been affected by this tragic event, and that all the construction, as I said earlier, has been suspended. Now, it doesn't say what happened today, but multiple sources are telling me that one of those steel construction towers collapsed today. Now, this, I should repeat, this is not part of the Labrador Island connection that's coming from Muskrat Falls to Soldiers Pond. This is part of that new $300 million 200 kilovolt line that's being built from Bay d'Espoir to right here on the Avalon Peninsula. Now, this is the second deadly incident that's occurred on a transmission line project in this province this year. You'll remember back in January that a man from Stephenville, Phil Parsons, just 30 years old, he also died on an accident on the west coast. That was part of the Maritime Link project that's being built by Emera. So just to recap, we have two people dead today working on a transmission line project in this province. Reporting live from Come By Chance, I'm Terry Roberts for Here and Now.
Andy Wells was suspended with pay today from his position at the Public Utilities Board.
According to the Justice Department, the former St. John's mayor was taken out of his job as chair and CEO of the board effective this afternoon.
Here and Now's Jen White has been following this story and she joins us live. Jen, what happened?
Well, Jeremy, Andy Wells says the axe fell around 1:30, but he says he wasn't entirely surprised. Wells says he thinks two incidents led to his suspension. First, comments he made to St. John's councillor Danny Breen about Muskrat Falls some 5 years ago. The second is recent emails to city councillors, about 24 emails he says that he sent from his PUB account. Those emails were released publicly last Tuesday. Now, Wells questioned what he calls a subsidy that was given to the St. John's ice caps and severance packages that were given to city staff. Emails that councillors have called harassing and bullying.
I've always taken the position that the truth is the best defense. And I can say that I'm living in a province now whereby there's not a heck of a lot of truth out there around. I don't see it very much in the stuff that I'm involved in and the stuff that I observe every day. We're in a sad situation in this province. There's people who know better and won't speak up, and I know better, and I'm damn well prepared to speak up on behalf of what I think is right.
Justice Minister Andrew Parsons says the decision was based on recent statements that Wells has made, though he wouldn't give specifics as the investigation is ongoing.
When we talk about the Public Utilities Board, which is a quasi-judicial, is an independent body, and I take it very seriously. The PUB is accountable to the Department of Justice and to the LGIC. And when you have statements that are made, that may be in relation to that role, I take them very seriously. And those have been the basis for making the decision which we made today, which is a very serious move.
Wells has until July 5th to respond, and Minister Parsons says there's no set timeline on when a decision will be made. While the review is underway, Vice Chair Darlene Whalen will take over Wells' duties at the PUB. Meanwhile, Wells isn't ruling out a run for council, but he says he'll make that decision when the time comes. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Jen White.
Courtney Lake's family is into its second week of not knowing where she is, but police say tips are pouring in about the suspicious disappearance of the 24-year-old. Now they know more about where and when she was last seen. Here Now's Megan McCabe has more.
It's a nice day in a quiet neighborhood, perfect for Terry Lawler to do some work outside. But he's looking for normalcy in the middle of a nightmare. Courtney Lake missing from this very street.
Wake up in the morning, I step out on my front step and I look over and see pictures of her posted all over her house. It takes you right to the heart, It's sad to hear and it's sad to see what happened to this young girl,
This is Courtney Lake's neighborhood in Mount Pearl. And now, thanks to new information, police say that this is the last place she was seen, walking away from her mom's house on Wellington Crescent here and heading towards Lindbergh and Ruth Avenue over by where the schools are. She was caught on video camera from one of these houses here at 7:52 p.m. on Wednesday, June 7th. And that's the last anyone's heard of her since she stopped using her phone and accessing her bank account. Police say this pushes ahead the timeline of Lake's disappearance. 3:07 p.m. in Esso on Anderson Avenue, swimming with her 6-year-old son, dropped off at her mom's, a couple phone calls from inside, then nothing. RNC Constable Jeff Higdon says anyone with possible video of Lake from a dash cam, home, or business should contact them.
And we're hoping that the images we released may, of Courtney, hopefully will appear in some of those camera footage that can help investigators piece together the moments after and kind of further build the timeline, because we know she went somewhere, we just don't know where.
Back on her street, Lawler says he doesn't know Courtney or her mom, but the whole neighborhood is on edge.
Makes it a little bit uneasy because my girlfriend's home and she feels a little bit still unsafe because we don't really know what happened, how she left, so it's pretty scary.
Lake's family is holding out hope she'll come home and keeping the lights on until she does. Megan McCabe, CBC News, Mount Pearl.
A basketball net controversy that got a lot of people talking hoops in St. John's has yet to be resolved. Last week, we talked about City Hall sending letters to homeowners advising them to remove nets from the road or face fines. Craig Smith told the CBC that his net is still in front of his house and that he hasn't heard from City Hall. Now, a spokesperson for the city says the matter will be reviewed by staff this week and the next course of action figured out from there. The province will publish its first sunshine list by the end of the month, but the names of at least some public sector employees won't be on it. Here and Now's Rob Antle has the details.
The list will be released by June 30th. The name of pretty much everyone who makes more than $100,000 will be there, assuming their paycheck comes from provincial taxpayers. But rank and file RNC officers won't be on the list. The cabinet recently exempted them from having their names disclosed.
The RNCA made an application for exemption of their members that would be included on the sunshine list for safety reasons, purely for safety reasons, because there's the fear that identification of officers by the criminal element could lead to possible safety issues for their members.
The salaries of any cop making more than $100,000 will be published, but without a name attached. NAPE says what's good for the police should be good for others.
Our correctional officers, for example, some of our social workers, our sheriff's officers. So some of these, I think, would have an equivalent concern.
Under the law, Cabinet can exempt broad categories of workers when requested, if there are concerns about their safety or their mental or physical health. Individual employees can also apply to have their names removed from the list. It's not clear how many of those applications have been made and how many have been accepted. Rob Antle, CBC News, St. John's.
Some scary moments in Bonavista earlier today. Multiple explosions happened as a crew was paving a driveway. This was the scene on Benny's Road. Around lunchtime, what appears to be propane tanks caught fire and exploded. No injuries were reported.
A civilian employee with the RNC has been formally charged with 3 breaches under the Access to Information and Privacy Act. 45-year-old Annette Kennedy was not in court this morning, but was represented by her lawyer, Jeff Brace. Brace told the court he is still waiting for disclosure on the case. The Crown said it should be available by the end of the week. Kennedy is accused of snooping in the personal files of 2 people last fall. She has been suspended without pay and has another court date slated for June 24th.
Well, a woman arrested after a machete attack in Gander 2 years ago walked free this morning. The single charge of aggravated assault was withdrawn against Kelsey Moyles. She was only in court for a few seconds when the judge told her she was free to go. She was arrested 2 years ago after a stabbing at a memorial to victims of a plane crash near Gander. She was suspected of helping arrange the attack, which left the victim wandering and bleeding on the highway. But the Crown attorney in the case decided to drop the charge.
I advised the court that we'd met with the complainant in this matter several times last week. And as a result of the meetings that we had with the complainant, we felt that it was not in his interest for us to continue on with the prosecution. I can't really get into the discussion that we had with the complainant. The information that he provided us was quite a personal and private nature, and I would be very uncomfortable in getting into those reasons.
Muskrat Falls protesters stopped people from entering the Labrador and Aboriginal Affairs office in Happy Valley Goose Bay today. And they plan to do it again tomorrow. That goes against a promise made 5 months ago. Protesters agreed they wouldn't block access to this building if government kept an open line of communication around the mega project open. That hasn't been happening according to the group, so they've gone back to blocking people from getting to work. No charges were laid today.
You know, I think this is a dangerous thing what's going on here, and I can see why a lot of people don't come to this stuff. They're afraid, and I think the courts and the police are doing their part to make sure that it's kind of threatening. I don't know, don't feel right to me anyway.
Well, the long-running annual oil and gas conference is taking place in St. John's this week, and it's happening in the wake of some big developments in our offshore industry. But there's also a cloud of uncertainty about a regulatory process that some say could bring future development to a grinding halt. Industry leaders are complaining that multiple layers of regulations are threatening to smother the sector and potentially drive away billions of dollars of exploration commitments made in our offshore. A lobby effort is underway to turn back the clock and have the Federal Provincial Offshore Petroleum Board made the sole regulator for the offshore. That was the case until 2010. Now, oil companies must also get approvals from the Canadian Environmental Assessment Agency, and critics say this is gumming up the process.
Well, what we don't want to have happen is for any slowdown in the environmental assessment process. We want to make sure it's thorough and well done, like it has been done over the last 30 years.
With the towboat of Hebron, we have the West White Rose wellhead platform, and after that there is nothing on the horizon. So we're going to push that activity and the benefits from it further out into the future. And the more in the future, certainly the less certain it'll happen.
Go! Well, it looks like the Pet Expo in Mount Pearl is gone to the dogs. After the break, we'll tell you why these guys were such a big hit over the weekend.
I turned my head and there was a man standing with a black mask over his head, and a long coat and gloves, and with a double-barrel shotgun in his hand.
You may not know her name, but Mary Doey was a Canadian hero whose calm in the face of death saved hundreds. She died last week. Her story is still ahead. And just before we get to the weather, we have some video you're just going to want to see.
So yeah, the 7th annual Wiener Dog races were a hit at the Newfoundland Labrador Pet Expo in Mount Pearl on Saturday.
Yes, around 50 Dachshunds and their proud owners took part in the event, which saw the tiny dogs race each other for the glory of being named the fastest Wiener dog on the Avalon. Just have a look.
Get set, go!
We're having our 7th annual Wiener Dog races. What will happen is we have about 50 dogs competing. They're all pre-assigned heats based on their age, based on gender.
So one stands on one end, well, one person with the dog, and then when they say go, you have to let go of the dog, and the dog has to get to the other end, and then the first dog to get to the end wins.
This is the annual running of the wieners in 3, 2, 1, go!
We just let the dogs go and do their own thing. Some dogs might run off to the side, but I think he's going to go right for the ball and go straight.
I've seen it on the Facebook group. We have almost 1,100 members right now, and everyone is so involved in their dogs. So as soon as I seen that they were doing it, I had to go.
That's great.
So I had to point out to the ladies about that shirt. We're here to roast some wieners. I don't have a wiener dog or any dog for that matter, but I want that shirt.
They looked, they're very sweet.
Cute. There must be some sort of segue between wiener dog and hot dog, because the big story right now is going to be the heat for the weather tomorrow for central and the northeastern parts of the island. So let's just have a look and see how things are shaping up. Here's a glimpse at the weather on the way. We have a fog advisory in place for the south coast of the island. It's going to be really hot and sticky in central and northeast, the northeastern part of the island tomorrow. So much so that there's a special weather statement put out from Environment Canada, and Labrador is in for a pretty long stretch of showery weather. So this is the fog advisory that's in place for tonight. You can see it stretches right from Burgeo straight over to the southeastern part of the Avalon. So very dense fog. It can affect driving conditions. If you're out tonight, it should kind of retreat out to sea in the daytime and then come back in the evening time. So it should also be sticking around for a couple of days. And you can see lots of shower activity here in Labrador tonight, and a risk of thunder showers for the western part of Labrador, Lab City, Wabush, and Churchill Falls. Some shower activity as well on the west coast and down along the south coast as well throughout the night tonight and into tomorrow morning. So you can see that things are staying really nice and warm for central areas tonight. No precipitation there at all. It's going to cool down in St. John's with a risk of some drizzle there. 12 degrees, much cooler along the Labrador coast here. Just 2 degrees as the low in Nain overnight tonight, with showers there. So this is a special weather statement. All of these areas tomorrow are going to get up to about 29 degrees, but with the humidex, it's going to feel more like 37. So Environment Canada is warning people not to leave your pets in the car tomorrow. If you're going to be doing any outdoor activity, make sure you drink plenty of water. And if you have any kind of breathing problems, you may want to save any outdoor activity for a much cooler day. So yeah, it's going to be a hot one, sticky one tomorrow. And showers will continue across Labrador throughout the day tomorrow. Clearer along the central parts of the island tomorrow, and it's just going to be a lovely day in the east. So this is what we're looking at for St. John's specifically. 17 degrees to start your day. It's going to be pretty breezy though. Southwest winds 30 to 50. It's going to be very similar to what it was like today. Temperature is going to get up to about 26 degrees, around 30 with the humidex, so it's going to be hot, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be gorgeous. And in the evening, it should dip down to about 18 degrees, so a lovely evening as well. You can see the difference in temperatures along the southern part of the Avalon here. 12 degrees in Placentia. That's because of that fog is keeping things from heating up in those areas, the same as it is in the more northern parts of the Avalon. So 26 in Bay Roberts, 27 in Bonavista. Moving into central, of course, like I mentioned, it's going to be a very, very hot day with a mix of sun and cloud. 29 as the high in Twillingate and 23 in Bayvert with a risk of showers there. Some shower activity on the west coast tomorrow. Fairly breezy, southwest southwest winds gusting up to 60 and 25 degrees in Humber Valley. Along the straits, a very showery day tomorrow. Cooler along the coast, just 5 degrees in Cartwright as the high there. 18 in St. Anthony. It's going to stay very cool along the coast here. Nain just getting up to 3 degrees tomorrow with some showers. And you can see in Labrador City, it's going to be quite a nice warm day, 20 degrees, but there's still a chance of some thunder showers throughout the day there. So yeah, I'll get into our long-range forecast a little bit later. Jeremy?
Thanks, Carolyn. What do people know and what do they want to know about marijuana? The province is asking the public. More than 2,000 people have participated in the Engage NL survey in the last 10 days. Alison Sampson reports on that.
The government is hopeful that there will be a bump in the pot business leading to tax income. But even longtime marijuana users think there's still a lot to learn about how this is all going to work.
Jeff Piercy has been smoking medical marijuana for about 3 years. Pot was the drug that finally tackled the chronic pain.
He's helped me stop being a criminal to be a human being.
But getting into marijuana as an adult wasn't easy. He had to learn how to become a pot smoker.
An interesting thing about beginning medical marijuana user, especially as an adult, I had to learn all of my tips and tricks from teenagers on YouTube. Like every piece of what I would call like a piece of education that I took in on how to prepare, how to use this tool, how to use that tool, which tool is better. It was all from some 16-year-old with a sideways cap. It's amazing that there really is no readily available information for your average adult user.
So far in the provincial government survey, 2 big topics have emerged. Who should be smoking it and who should be selling it?
A lot of what we're dealing with is the distribution and the age as it relates to the legalization of cannabis. So there's a lot of feedback obviously on the age. Should it be 18? Should it be 19? Should it be up to 25? And you're getting a wide variety of people's responses on this. Some should be keep it the same age as alcohol and tobacco. Some people are saying no, that they should be higher. Another one of the big ones obviously is where are you going to sell it? You have some people saying we should set up our own crown corporation just for cannabis. Some people say it should be corner stores. Some people should say should be the NLC.
But the province will listen to what some people are saying. The online survey runs until June 30th. Then, a year from now, pot will be legal. And that's when we'll find out if the public's recommendations become reality. Alison Sampson, CBC News, St. John's.
We don't see too many oily birds washing up on our shoreline anymore as government toughened up regulations. But there was a lapse last year. That story after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Well, it's not something we hear much about anymore. Oil-soaked birds showing up on shore and long slicks of oil sludge at sea.
The reason, after major incidents in the 1990s, the federal government toughened up the rules and enforcement. But last year, there was a lapse. The CBC's Todd O'Brien dug into the story, and I spoke with him earlier today. Todd, in the 1990s, there were a lot of ships discarding oil just off of our coast. What was going on back then?
Jeremy, it was a big deal back then because in the news all you would hear about are a bunch of birds that would be oiled on beaches along the southern shore, Cape Shore, that area. So what was essentially was happening, you had these ships traveling from Europe, and they'd pass through Newfoundland waters, and a lot of times at night they'd empty their bilge water, which is oily water in the bottom of a ship. It was easier for them to just let it go, and that trail would kill thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of birds.
What were people saying at the time back then about all that? Like that, people must have been pretty upset.
People were upset, of course they were, and it sort of was an emotional thing for people. Nobody likes to see a bird suffer. Stan Tobin of the Newfoundland and Labrador Environmental Association was the lead guy on this. He operates, to this day, a place where they clean birds in ship cove. So he was, yelling in the media, telling people about it, and we covered it. So there was a lot of heat generated. Eventually, all that heat came to a head in 1997, and that's when something like 2,700 birds were found with oil. They all perished, and it came to a head, and then they came up with a committee to look at ways of fixing the situation, a bunch of recommendations, and those recommendations eventually helped clean up the situation.
Among those recommendations was one of them sort of monitoring the situation from the air. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's yes, that was one of the key ones. There was a bunch of things like fingerprinting of the oil to trace it back to ships, but one of the key ones, the best ones to this day, is to have surveillance. And they've got right now. Back then, the recommendation was to bring it up to 600 hours a year, so that Coast Guard, I think at the time, was doing it, but now it's Transport Canada, and they would be just looking around and flying over ships, and it helped deter the people from doing that, spilling oil.
So they're doing 600 hours a year. Did that number grow or shrink, or what happened in the last few years?
Once it was approved and then things were given the okay, essentially, I looked at figures from the last 10 years. It's been over 600 hours for most of those 10 years, all those 10 years, except for last year. Now, 2 or 3 years ago, it was like over 1,200 hours. Last year, just 319. And so anyways, this year, it has been restored to 1,100 hours.
Basically, over the last 10 years, basically 600 hours a year, and then it dropped down to 300. Was there any explanation why they cut the numbers in half for last year?
The only explanation was that senior government people made the decision. It was they prioritized where they were going to spend the money. They do surveillance all over the country, and they decided they were going to pull it from Newfoundland and Labrador. And as you can imagine, people, when Stan Tobin found out about it, he contacted me, wasn't happy, and I just started making a bunch of calls, and now here we are.
You've been working on this story for months. It was 300 last year. How many hours? It's been upped, but how many hours are they going to do this coming year or next year?
They're going to boost it to 1,100. Transport Canada will do 500, and a local company, Provincial Aerospace, they're going to do 1,100.
What does Stan Tobin think of all that?
He's happy. He's pleased with that, and that's he believes that's the minimum. That's what people should be doing, because it's like it is like having a cop out there. You don't take the cops away once the crime goes away, because the crime will return.
I turned my head, and there was a man standing with a black mask over his head and a long coat and gloves, and with a double-barrel shotgun in his hand.
Newfoundlander Mary Doey died last week. You may not know her name, but she's a Canadian hero whose calm in the face of death saved hundreds. That's next. Welcome back to Here and Now. Mary Doey is probably the most worthy Canadian hero that you've never heard of. That was the memorable opening line of a newspaper article 3 years ago about the St. Bride's Southern Shore native. She died last week in Mississauga at 83, but she will be remembered as the first living person to receive Canada's highest award for bravery, the Cross of Valor.
I knew the moment that I was gone, he would go berserk.
It was all because of her conduct during a hijacking in 1971. Doey was an Air Canada flight attendant when a lone gunman hijacked the plane during a flight from Calgary and diverted it to Montana. At the risk of losing her life, Doey declined an offer of release and stayed on board. It would be 8 hours of sheer terror, but Doey eventually talked the hijacker down, saving 200 passengers and crew. In 1977, she recounted the ordeal.
I stepped out of the galley. I was all ready to start the first class service. And I heard, "Sit down." And I turned my head, and there was a man standing with a black mask over his head and a long coat and gloves, and with a double-barrel shotgun in his hand. Well, I just froze. The purser had a piece of paper in his hand. And I heard this man say, the man with the gun, "You take that note to the captain, you tell him to follow the instructions to a T." And he said, "You have so many minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, or she's dead," meaning me. And then he yelled again at me, he said, "Sit down." So this was in the lounge. He said, "You put your back to the window, you stare straight ahead, you move your head and I'll blow it off." So I'm sitting there. He has the gun aimed at it. But I also heard paper rattling. Out of the corner of my eye, I looked over, without moving my head, of course, and I saw 2 wires come out of this package. And I thought, oh my God, he has a bomb. Then I heard, "Come over here." So I said, "Do you mean you want me to get up and go over there and sit beside you?" And he said, "Yes." So I went over, and he handed me these 2 wires, and he said, "Lady, you know what's in that?" He said, "That's a 60-stick dynamite bomb." He said, "If you want to die now, you can. If you don't, keep those wires apart." He said, "But it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to die tonight." So I put 1 wire in here and 1 in here, because I knew they had to be kept as far apart as possible. In the meantime, he still has his shotgun. So then I said, "Is this where you want me to sit?" indicating the seat beside him, and he said, "Yes." Then he said, "You know, lady, I don't want to frighten you." He said, "I don't want you to see the sight of blood." And I said, "Oh, my name is Mary. Please call me Mary." And I said, "What is your name now, dear?" And he said, "Dennis." I said, "Oh, may I call you Dennis?" So we both sat down. Shortly after, a shot hit the bulkhead, and the pilots got the pellets at their feet. In the meantime, the purser was in the cockpit. The captain was reading the note.
What was in the note?
The note was 506 words long, and it began, "Welcome aboard the original Doomsday flight." And it goes on to say, "I have just boarded your aircraft with so many sticks of dynamite, a double-barrel shotgun, cartridges, they have your names written on them." And it ended by saying, "There'll be no heroes tonight. God bless us all."
You must have been very, very afraid.
Me?
Yes.
It's called terror. But I knew that I couldn't show it, because if he told me, you see, "I don't understand it." He said, "I was supposed to get on here, take a girl hostage. She was supposed to panic, and that was it. It was game over." You see, but I gave him the impression that I was cool, calm, and collected.
Why would that have made a difference to him?
Well, it threw off his mission. As I said, it was all down hand pat in his mind how it was going to happen. There wouldn't have been any problem at all. And the headlines would read that he had gone out in a blaze of glory.
Wow, such an amazing story of cool-headedness and bravery.
Yeah, absolutely.
A fantastic story that most of us didn't know. But fascinating thing, like the guy got on the plane with a double-barrel shotgun, and I can't even get on with a bottle of water.
Yeah, security has certainly
changed a lot.
That was 1971. That was in 77. She did that interview, and she didn't want any more attention in later years to her role in that. I communicated with her cousin today, and she just didn't want anything fancy, no big funeral or memorial, but incredibly brave woman.
Absolutely.
Fascinating story, and I'm glad that you got the chance to tell our audiences. Like the biggest hero we've never heard of. That was incredible.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
Well, things are looking pretty nice in the weather. Wasn't today amazing?
I didn't even mind the wind doing this with the hair. It was so nice and warm. It was great.
It was beautiful. People, you go out and walk, and you didn't freeze to death. It was a great day. So, you know, when the weather's bad, you take the flack, but when the weather's good, you can take the praise.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. I'll take it. But it's nice because the temperatures are going to stay quite warm for a while now. So that's great. I just wanted to show you some of these pictures here.
Oh,
yes, this is Bonavista. Eric Abbott sent this into us, put it on Ryan Snoddon's Facebook page, and so I thought that was beautiful. Look how huge it is. But this little guy here I thought was really interesting too.
Looks like a whale's tail.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, this is also in Bonavista. So
bizarre bird.
It certainly is.
It is.
Great shot, Lisa.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at what's to come with the weather. Well, we do have a fog advisory in effect for tonight for parts of the southern coast. I just pressed ahead the button a little bit too fast, but yeah, so it's going to be pretty dense fog from Burgeo right over to the southeastern part of the Avalon tonight. But this is for tomorrow. This is a special weather statement in effect. Going to be really hot in central areas and along the northeast coast. 29 degrees as the high with a humidex of 37-ish tomorrow. So it's going to be very, very muggy and sticky if you're doing anything outdoors. Keep that in mind. Here's a look at some temperatures for tomorrow. 26 as the high in St. John's tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud. Just gorgeous day coming tomorrow. Still going to be very windy like it was today, gusting up to 70 along the coast. And we have some showers along the southern coast there and up through Labrador. And in Lab City, there is a risk of thunder showers throughout the day tomorrow. So let's look ahead now to Tuesday evening. Lots of shower activity that will persist really all week in Labrador here and along the west coast of the island and right over to the St. John's area. So it is going to be a bit wet, some showery weather on the way, but temperatures nice and warm. So on Wednesday afternoon, we're looking at 23 degrees for St. John's in the vicinity, cloudy skies in central and 25 on Wednesday, 22 on the west coast. Cooler in Labrador, just 12 degrees in eastern Labrador with some showers and 14 in the west. So it's a bit cooler in Labrador, but still not too bad. So looking ahead to Thursday afternoon, lots of cloud cover. You can see still the showers are persisting throughout Labrador into Thursday morning. And also here you can see along the Avalon Peninsula and the west coast. So lots of shower activity happening pretty much for everybody. But you can see that the temperatures are still staying warm on the island at least. We're, 19 to 21 degrees hovering around for Thursday afternoon, but still kind of cool in Labrador, looking at temperatures between 11 and 13 degrees with showers up there. So it's looking pretty good for later in the week, hey? It's still a bit early, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday looking like great days if you're in the east. Lots of showers, though, in central and western Newfoundland, but still some nice warm temperatures in the long range. A bit cooler in parts of Labrador, but still quite nice, and it'll hopefully start to clear off as we get to Monday of next week.
Let's move along and meet our young athlete of the day. This is Taisha Din from Grand Falls, Windsor. Taisha is 8 years old, takes part in dancing, gymnastics, swimming, and cross-country skiing.
Yeah, she dances with the performance team for the Leslie Oak School of Dance and is going to Florida in 2018 to dance at Disney.
Way to go, Taisha! Congratulations on being chosen as our Young Athlete of the Day.
Well, we just have to make a big left turn there because we're going to go back to our top story. 2 people are dead after an accident that occurred during the construction of a new transmission line just west of Come By Chance.
Here now is Terry Roberts is live near the scene. Terry, what more can you tell us?
Yes, Jeremy, I'm right here in Come By Chance. You can see the Come By Chance fire hall behind me. This was one of the 2 brigades that responded to this deadly accident today. I'm told that firefighters started getting a page just before 1 o'clock. This disaster, this tragedy happened on a forest access road west of here, about 4 kilometers deep in the forest, where I'm told that a steel tower, one of the thousands of steel towers that are going up around this province right now, collapsed. It toppled and fell on top of a pickup truck and totally destroying the pickup truck. That's what I'm told happened there today, and that 2 people died in that industrial accident. And Nalcor released a statement a little while ago. Newfoundland Labrador Hydro, a division of Nalcor, released a statement saying that work on that 230 kilovolt transmission line that's being built from the Bay d'Espoir hydroelectric generating station to here on the Western Avalon has been halted, and now a major investigation is underway. We don't know any exact details of what happened or who the victims were. I'm sure that will come out in due time. But right here tonight, this has been a difficult day for all those firefighters, those volunteer firefighters from right here in Come By Chance and also in neighboring Sunnyside. And I'm told they're going to gather in a very short while. They're going to have a post incident debriefing here tonight to talk about what went on. Now, I think we have some video I can show you. This is pretty dangerous work that's happening right now all around this province. One aspect of the job involves actually installing these towers using a helicopter, a heavy lift helicopter. Now, that was happening on this project on an inaccessible part of the project. But I'm told that's not what happened today. There was not using helicopters. This was in an area that's accessible where they were able to build a forest access road using cranes to erect these towers. Now that's a $300 million project that's part of the new AC line coming across from Bay d'Espoir. That's not related to the Labrador Island link. That's that 1,100 kilometer link that's coming down from Muskrat Falls to Soldiers Pond. So once again, what we do know that 2 men have died, and this is the second deadly incident to happen in this province on a transmission line project this year. Back in January, a 30-year-old man from Stephenville died when a tower, we don't know the whole details on that, but there was a deadly incident near Stephenville Crossing back in January. So that's all we know at this point right now. Back to you guys in the studio.
to Here and Now. To international news now, we're learning more about last night's violent attack against Muslims in North London. Police have named the suspect as 47-year-old Darren Osborne of Cardiff, Wales. But even as the investigation continues, anger is growing. The CBC's Nala Ayed has more.
It was a shocking end to prayer on a Ramadan night. To witnesses, it was clear right away they had been deliberately targeted.
He was shouting, "We're all Muslims, I want to kill all Muslims." Literally, he said that, word by word.
He was the attacker, mowing people down as they left Finsbury Park Mosque.
No one touched him, no one.
An angry crowd caught up with him. The mosque's imam saved him from harm.
We pushed people away from him until he was safely taken by police into custody and put into the back of the van.
We've been talking to people in this area, and there's not just horror over what happened here behind me, but there's also anger over the fact that it took a while to describe it as a terrorist attack. That anger is directed at the media and at the government.
Can Britain take any more terror, Prime Minister?
Prime Minister Theresa May, accused of being too detached in London's other recent tragedies, did later call it a terrorist attack and came to visit a shaken neighborhood.
My daughter was crying, my wife is shaking, and so I can't believe it,
The attacker, believed to be 47-year-old Darren Osborne, wasn't known to police, but they say the motive was clear.
This was quite clearly an attack on Muslims who looked like they were probably Muslims.
3 of the last 4 terrorist attacks here were carried out by Islamists claiming to act for the extremist group ISIS. Officials say there's been a recent spike in hate crimes, including against Muslims. Some are concerned all of this will devolve into tit-for-tat strikes.
What has London come to? What has Britain come to? Can we get back to the way we used to be? I hope we can.
And after weeks of unusual turbulence here, London is ill at ease. Nala Ayed, CBC News, London.
Expect to pay more for pork and beef at grocery stores and restaurants. Food price experts say the cost of meat is going to jump by up to 9%. The spike is reportedly because of lower supply at cattle and hog farms. Grocers are also looking to increase profits after meat prices went down last year. Good news for breakfast lovers, though. The cost of dairy, eggs, cereal, and baked goods is expected to drop.
There was a special event at Rideau Hall today. The Governor-General named the newest recipients of the Order of Canada. 29 Canadians were honored, and this year there was a special focus on Indigenous leadership.
Sylvia Miracle has been a leader in shaping the urban Indigenous experience in Canada.
Mohawk activist Sylvia Miracle was named an Officer of the Order of Canada. She was recognized for promoting the well-being of Indigenous people and women. Gord Downey, wearing his nicest jean jacket of the Tragically Hip, was also made a member of the Order of Canada. He and his band, the Tragically Hip, were honored for their contribution to Canadian music and their support of social and environment causes. Governor-General David Johnston also apologized for his comments over the weekend, which stirred controversy. Johnston originally said Canada is a country based on immigration going right back to our Indigenous people. Today, he backtracked, saying Indigenous peoples are not immigrants. They are the original peoples of this land. After a break, we'll tell you why a famous children's group is singing about this province.
How did it feel when you found the cameras here in this room?
Disgusting. Absolutely awful. Because you're going around living your life. You're sitting on the couch, and people don't need to see that. It was awful. Like I wanted to throw up.
Well, if you have really young kids, you're likely familiar with the Wiggles. They are an Australian group that plays kids' music.
And last year, when they were performing in St. John's, they recorded a video dedicated to fishermen in this province. Have a look at this.
The Wiggles would like to dedicate this song to Hank Snow and all the wonderful fishermen who fish in the Grand Banks, the Quiro Banks and the Western Banks of Newfoundland. Squid jigging ground.
Oh, this is the place where the fishermen gather, oilskins and boots and the Cape hands battened down. All sizes of figures with squid lines and jiggers, they congregate here on the squid jigging ground. Some are working their jiggers while others are yarning. There's some standing up and there's more lying down. While all kinds of fun jokes and drinks are begun as they wait for the squid on the squid jigging ground.
That was something.
Now for something definitely different. But anyway, I'm sure the kids like Wiggles because apparently it's they're a popular group.
Yeah, they're like the Rolling Stones of kids musicians.
Who knew?
But anyways, let's switch gears real quick. There was an ultimate motor race competition hitting the track on Father's Day. That is cool.
So dads put the pedal to the metal at the annual lawn mower race in Grand Island, New York.
So the event started back in the 1960s after a friendly betting war to see whose lawnmower could run the fastest.
Of course they would challenge that.
So hundreds of people turn out every year to see these race drivers. I was going to say, the line says burn rubber, but that doesn't seem to be like they're tearing up the track. It's definitely not Fast and the Furious. But it looks like a wild time.
Yeah, that would be one way to describe it.
Stumbling over the finish line there, yeah.
I love that we have like racing lawnmowers and racing wiener dogs on the show tonight. It's just great. What else is great is the forecast for tomorrow, particularly if you're in the east. We're looking at 26 degrees as the high in St. John's tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud. 29 as the high in central parts of the island. It's going to be really hot and really sticky. Humidex of about 37 degrees, so you want to keep that in mind if you're doing anything outdoors. Up in Labrador, much cooler along the coast. You have those northeast winds that are keeping things cool and lots of shower activity happening up there. And 20 degrees as the high in Lab City with a risk of thunder showers tomorrow. So just wanted to end on this beautiful picture of an iceberg, my third iceberg picture for tonight.
That's very nice.
Very
nice
serene.
Yes.
The colors are beautiful.
The green, and you can see under the water there. I thought it was really nice. And this is in Carmenville, so thank you very much to Mark Parsons for sending this one in.
And they always say about how much is hidden. It's very evident there, isn't it? What you see on top is not very much.
Great picture.
Thank you very much for starting the week with us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Good night.